This time, things start to get serious for the Starfish team.
We can kill people. That's definitely not something we want.
Knut crosses his fingers as his ship is let loose.
Once it's moving, there's no more control.
And the crew of the Tangier battle to unload their first cargo.
Don't stay in front of this. This is over 200 degrees.
In vast shipyards across the globe, elite engineers are joining forces to build a new breed of marine machines to do battle with the world's roughest seas.
There are no cutting corners or no cheating.
A giant tanker, as long as 2 football pitches.
Building ships is actually like a big 3D puzzle.
A mighty super tug with the power of 180 cars.
Time is always our enemy.
And the world's biggest jack-up oil rig.
It's engineering on an epic scale.
They've got some problem now then.
Stop, Augustus, stop.
Constructing these ocean giants on time and to spec is the ultimate test of teamwork.
No, she's really a beast.
And skill for the world's biggest shipbuilders. Ulsteinvik, on the fringes of the Arctic Circle. Home of Kleven, one of Norway's most remote shipyards. Here, veteran shipbuilder Knut Fjellkopf is close to completing a unique vessel, the Starfish.
So the ship is getting its soul, it's getting its backbone, and yeah, she's growing up, she's becoming a grown-up lady.
The Starfish is an ultra-powerful and ultra-mobile super tug. The first of 6 tugs being built over the next 11 months. Her job will be to pull enormous loads and ferry vital supplies out to offshore oil rigs. Over the last week, Knut's team has taken delivery of the 3 giant blocks making up her 5,000-ton hull and lined them up in the yard's 150-metre-long slipway. Today, workers begin the massive challenge of welding the blocks together.
Welding is sometimes very tricky, and that, of course, is one of the biggest tasks when building this hull.
In the North Sea, the Starfish's hull will be subjected to extreme stresses.
Any defects in the welding seams can lead to catastrophic results during the operation of the ship.
Knut is relying on hull superintendent Alex Snacko to ensure that every last joint is flawless.
This block was fabricated here in Norway. This block arrived from Poland. Finally, they meet each other, and I hope they will be good friends. We have only 6 weeks remaining before launching of the ship.
With the clock counting down, Alex is under pressure to complete all 2.2 kilometres of welding on time. The ship is way too cramped to use fast welding robots, so the crew must weld every last centimetre by hand. But with so much welding to complete, it's a daunting task. To speed things up, the team is using a special technique.
This is a ceramic tiles. It's a flexible.
Using self-adhesive ceramic strips applied to the back of the joint, Alex's team can weld each seam from just one side, cutting the job time by almost half.
Reduce man hours, so it will help to weld our vessel on time.
Throughout the process, Alex must make sure that every single joint is perfect.
All the welds should be good and sound. We cannot accept any mistake.
So for the next month, a specialist team will be working through the night to inspect every seam.
I need to secure the area because it's a lot of radiation. We do this late at night because the yard is almost empty.
They're using an ultra-powerful X-ray scanner.
This is very dangerous. It's like you use in hospital when you take X-ray of your bones and stuff like that, but this is much, much heavier. It will project through the steel, like 30 millimeters, no problem.
First, Henning attaches a strip of photographic film to one side of the joint. As the radiation passes through the weld, any cracks will show up on the film strip.
And now I'll go back to the X-ray machine and beam it.
Henning's machine is so powerful that the team must retreat a full 25 meters for safety.
This is how much radiation it is. This is a safe distance. If it's not good, then you have to grind it and weld it again.
The next morning, Alex inspects the test film.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I think it's very good weld. All what we have here is acceptable.
Okay, this is a good. Thank you very much.
Sure, welcome.
Test passed. Alex and his crew can get on with welding the rest of the Starfish's giant hull.
I'll be happy to see this ship on the water. Yeah, when she go to the nature.
With another big job complete,
Ready?
Knut and some of the team are grabbing an opportunity to unwind.
Oh, yeah.
With a spot of deep-sea fishing.
You need something to relax, to distract your thoughts from work and get some fresh air. And you have a lot of fresh air here in Norway.
This is nice. Yeah.
Like shipbuilding, fishing takes both skill and patience.
This is maybe definitely not the way to get a fish.
Both of which are in short supply today.
That's typical.
That's a stone. Or maybe a cable, sea cable.
If you don't lose anything when you're out fishing, then don't try.
After plugging away for more than an hour, the lines are still empty.
There are much easier ways to get your breakfast.
Until finally...
Yeah, we have first fish.
The next day, and mechanical superintendent, Simon Vistus, is on his way to test one of the Starfish's most crucial pieces of machinery.
We are not leaving the factory here without a satisfying test. If it's not going according to plans, then we are delaying the delivery of the vessels.
One of the Starfish's main jobs will be to position giant oil rigs in rough seas using 20-ton anchors. The tension on the anchor chain is immense. If it were to break, it could kill any nearby crew. To prevent this, the Starfish is equipped with a pair of super strong hydraulic shark jaws that hold the chain securely, eliminating any tension on it in the busy deck area.
Without the shark jaws, we are not performing any work at all. So that's how important they are, as they are the safety device for people on deck.
Today, Simon is supervising a test of the shark jaws emergency quick release mechanism, designed to let go of a chain in a hurry. To give the crew enough time to get out of the way of the chain, the system is fitted with not only an audible alarm, but also a crucial visual warning. If they see the two guideposts retract, the crew will know that the shark jaws are about to open and that they must clear the deck.
We can kill people, cut people in half with the wires and everything else, and that's definitely not something we want. This is the emergency release we're going to test that makes the jaws open. No matter what is in the jaws, we'll time it and see when the jaws comes down. Og op, 1, 2, 3, nå. Okay.
The guideposts release at the same time as the shark jaws, failing the test.
Not completely satisfied. In Maersk, we normally don't call it problems, we call it small issues. But we'll get there.
Engineers retime the mechanism.
1, 2, 3, nå.
This time, the guideposts behave as they should, lowering a few crucial seconds before the shark jaws, enabling Simon to sign off.
Perfect. They've handled it very well. The quality of work is top, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with today.
Next, problems on board the Tangier as her crew unloads its first cargo.
If the cargo freezes down below, it will be disaster.
And tackles some of the world's most treacherous waters.
Just like a blind turn, like it narrows down here. So you have to look very vigilant, very careful in that area.
A few kilometres off the coast of Singapore, the brand new 10,000-ton tanker, the Tangier, is setting sail on her maiden voyage. Her mission? To cross almost 14,000 kilometres of ocean and unload her cargo at 6 different ports.
235, please.
In charge of putting this $34 million marathon runner through her paces is 15-year veteran Captain Konstantin Popper.
All the time we're supposed to be ready for anything. You can have in any moment an incident, can be spill, can be fire, and you're supposed to be ready to deal with that.
For 28 days, the Tangier makes good progress, crossing the Indian Ocean into the Suez Canal and through the narrow Dardanelles Strait, en route to the tiny Turkish port of Izmit. The Tangier is carrying almost 22,000 tons of palm oil, used in everything from toothpaste and lipstick to chocolate and margarine.
Stand by to open manifold.
Captain Popper is depending on Chief Officer Alexei Shahardin to keep the palm oil in perfect condition.
The cargo costs millions of dollars. The price of the palm oil which we have on board is more expensive than the cost of the vessel by itself.
With Izmit less than 4 hours away, Alexei and his pumpman Ross Magdalene are conducting a critical check of their precious cargo.
If the cargo is cold, it may freeze, you know? This is a solidifying cargo, palm oil.
A solidified cargo is Alexei's worst nightmare.
At the normal conditions, it's just solid. So when I hold it, it starts slightly melting.
If the temperature of the oil drops below 45 degrees Celsius, it could block the ship's pipe system, jeopardizing the maiden voyage.
If the cargo freezes down below, it will be disaster.
To keep the oil warm and liquefied, each of the Tangier's cargo tanks is equipped with a stainless steel heater, mounted on the deck above. A pump circulates the oil past a heating element, keeping its temperature at around 70 degrees Celsius. Only then can the crew start unloading, forcing the oil through a network of pipes and into a fleet of waiting trucks. Alexei and Ross drop a special probe into the hull to check that the oil is at the right temperature.
We just lower it inside the liquid, then we move like this to move the sensor up and down, constantly checking it. So it should not be damaged, should not be deteriorated. It's very sensitive.
With the oil at 60 degrees, 10 degrees less than optimum, Alexei decides that it needs some more heat.
I will make sure that it's heated up to 70 degrees.
I open this one first for the cargo, then opening the heating to give us some heat to the cargo so the temperature will increase.
Okay, pump running, 6 port. Is the cargo circulating in the heater?
Yeah, in 1 port, the line is getting warm.
Line getting warm, okay, so good sign.
Then the pump stop. Pump running, 6 port.
Pump running, port side.
While Alexei and Ross slowly bring the palm oil back up to temperature, the crew prepares for the tanker's arrival at Izmit. But this small port isn't used to welcoming such a large visitor.
It is all the time a challenge to bring the vessel alongside. In these small ports, we had only, 20, 30 meters distances forward, aft.
As the Tangier is only equipped with a single propeller, Captain Popper is relying on the port's 2 tugs to guide the ship towards dock.
In any moment, you can break a mooring rope and have uncontrolled movement of the vessel. The worst scenario is to have a broken wire, which can lead to fatality.
A team of dock workers stands by to offload the palm oil as soon as the ship is tied up.
She is the biggest. She is very beautiful.
Okay, gents, we need to move about 2 meters ahead, only 2 meters ahead. Thank you, first bring ashore. Please pick up. Ali, make fast the forward spring.
After 1.5 hours of careful manoeuvring, the Tangier is at last moored up and ready to begin offloading.
Thank you. Pilot away.
But with other ships also waiting to unload, the team will have to work fast.
When we arrive in port, pressure will be mostly from the shore side. These people want to discharge cargo as fast as possible.
Today is very cold. We want to start early.
It's not just the port that's in a hurry. Every hour spent in port costs the ship money in dock fees and running costs. So the crew is also keen to unload as quickly as possible.
Okay, I'm opening the valves on deck. Thank you.
But no sooner are the pipes attached than Alexei spots a problem.
Cargo is silky wine when it's cold. This is how it looks. So now we are basically steaming inside the manifold to melt it.
Some oil has solidified inside a section of pipe not warmed by the heater.
Stay on this side, don't stay in front of this.
With the clock ticking, Alexei attempts to clear the blocked pipe with boiling hot steam.
The steam temperature is over 200 degrees, and if it comes to your skin or to your face, you will lose the skin.
After 30 minutes of steaming, probing and cleaning, the pipe is clear.
Yeah, looks like okay now. We will start directly now. Connection, and we'll start discharging immediately.
Finally, unloading can get underway.
Okay, guys, now we can start discharging.
It takes 20 hours of pumping to offload the 8,500 tons or 273 truckloads of palm oil.
6 starboard pump, stop.
But with another 13,000 tons still on board, the crew's mission is far from over. Next, the crew of the Tangier descends into the dark to clean out her massive cargo tanks.
This cargo is slippery. Of course, it's a risk.
The Sea of Marmara, off the northwest coast of Turkey. The 10,000-ton tanker, the Tangier, is now 29 days into her maiden voyage. Her 39-year-old captain, Konstantin Popper, and his crew have already unloaded over half of the ship's cargo of palm oil. Now, the Tangier is about to begin the next leg of her voyage, as she heads for the Aegean Sea. But to do this, she must once more tackle the notorious Dardanelles Strait. The strait is one of the busiest and most treacherous stretches of water on the planet. Adding to the crew's worries, the Dardanelles are also extremely narrow. While the strait might look wide enough, dip beneath the water and it's a different story. Banks of sediment extend far out into the channel, meaning that the threat of running aground is never far away.
Touching the bottom means damage to your propeller, damage to your hull, and it will be a breach in the hull, and what will happen is like it can cause oil spill.
To help him navigate this tight bottleneck, Captain Popper is relying on local pilot Melhi Albarak.
He's a person who is like quite familiar with the local conditions. Current, the knowledge of local language, it all comes into like handy when you're transiting all this.
Kolay gelsin, sağ ol.
With Melhi's help, Captain Popper carefully guides the giant ship through the narrow channel, all the time keeping a close eye on his depth.
2 meters, 2.4 meters. But the only channel for transiting is between that buoy and between this buoy. 265 steady, please. 265 steady.
Next challenge, a 90-degree dogleg, the Canacarli bend, that will have to be negotiated in the dark.
Just like a blind turn, like it narrows down here. The vessels will be coming here, they'll be turning here, and at the same time you will also be turning. So you have to be very vigilant, very careful in that area.
Steady on course 240. 240.
Relying on the ship's instruments, Captain Popper eases the Tangier around the bend. And into open water.
We ended well, so that's another good job.
The following day, and the Tangier is within sight of our next port of call.
Midship the wheel.
Patras in Greece,
On to starboard.
where her crew will unload its next delivery of palm oil.
This guy is a strong guy. He can throw 100 meters.
To bring the vessel alongside. Finish, we complete the maneuver, hold the line up fast.
Safely tied up, the Tangier's crew makes light work of getting the cargo unloaded,
Okay, very good. Starting the pump.
emptying more than 160 truckloads of palm oil in 33 hours. Job done. Pump man Ross and fellow crew members Mark and Rolando head into town for some well-deserved R&R.
So it's shopping time. We will come back, don't worry, don't worry.
If they can ever find their way out of port.
Maybe this way. Which way, this way or... The gate! Where's the gate? Here?
It's been good to live in the ship, especially for the... if you've never been in the country.
This is our only chance to get that souvenir, yeah? So this is the proof that we've been in this place.
Ross has been working at sea for almost 20 years.
I have 2 kids and wife, she's pregnant now. So sometimes it's so hard to be separate. Yeah, it was a sacrifice. But if you don't have work, much harder for us. We're doing for family, for my kids, for their future.
Okay, let's go back to the ship now.
Okay, come on.
I think it's time. Time.
Before turning in for the night, Ross has one crucial but seriously messy final job.
Down on the tank, bottom, they take the squeegee and they push the cargo, you know, like this. They push it close to the pump, and the pump will take as much as possible to the shore.
Once a tank is unloaded, as much as 15,000 litres of liquid residue can be left behind. To prevent contamination of the next cargo, it's essential this residue is removed using a method known as squidging.
It's not comfortable atmosphere inside, definitely not. It's dark, there is a smell, it's a cargo, it's slippery.
To join his crewmates, Ross must climb down a 19-metre ladder coated in palm oil.
Railings where you hold the step where you step, everything is oily. You can imagine if you fell from 19 meters.
But the steep drop isn't the only danger. Temperatures in the tank can reach 55 degrees Celsius.
And it's, of course, a lack of oxygen maybe inside. Of course, it's a risk.
As Ross gets to work, colleagues up on deck keep a close eye on oxygen levels inside the tank.
The tanks are empty and cleaned, then I am happy. Only like this.
At last, the tank is clear, and the Tangier and her crew can leave Patras to begin the next leg of their epic voyage.
It was a long journey, exciting one. We will complete this voyage. I will be happy to see that everything is working.
Next, the Starfish team must solve a serious stability problem.
If the vessel is rolling too much, it can be very, very dangerous.
At the Kleven shipyard on the west coast of Norway, the giant super tug, the Starfish, is quickly taking shape. Site manager Knut and his team have already welded her 3 massive hull blocks together. Now, with her launch due in under 6 weeks, they have one last block left to install. Her 300-ton bridge.
You can see it's huge. It's what we call the brain of the ship. And the forward part, you will see the captain and the navigators navigating the vessel, surrounded by all of the equipment that they need to do that.
Built into the Starfish's bridge, just above the wheelhouse, is a critical safety feature.
Above us, we have our roll reduction tank running across the whole wheelhouse.
The Starfish's roll reduction tank will be filled with over 800 bathtubs worth of water. Its job, to act as a counterweight to the motion caused by heavy waves.
The whole mass of water starts to move back and forth as the vessel starts to roll from port to starboard. And these flat bars across the tank and also over there, they will reduce the flow of the water, the speed of the flow. And by this, we are compensating against the movement of the vessel. Without this tank, the movement will be like this. With this tank, the movement will be like this, or even completely stable.
The tank has been developed at a specialist test centre in Denmark.
If the vessel was rolling too much, we couldn't keep anchors and equipment on deck secure. It can be very, very dangerous. So here we just ensure that everything possible has been done to mitigate the risk of having a vessel with excessive roll.
While many ships boast roll reduction tanks, they're often found below deck. The Starfish is unusual in having her anti-roll tank positioned at the very top of the ship. This unorthodox approach is the brainchild of naval architect Kim Henriksen.
By putting up in the top, you have the motion of water that acts as a kind of active force in order to try to or reduce the motion of the vessel.
To test his new design, Kim is using a $40,000 scale model.
This model is about 20 times smaller than the real ship. It's equipped with 30 sensors for this test because we have to measure motions of the vessel.
You see there's something fundamentally wrong with the stability of the vessel and the effect of the roll tanks. He will have to go back to the drawboard and make his corrections. And he will be told to do that if that is the case.
Okay.
First, the model is tested with an empty anti-roll tank.
Here it's a big wave.
Without water inside the tank, the baby starfish is given a rough ride.
If you are on a very, very heavy rolling vessel for a prolonged period of time, the crew will not get properly rested. And that means that you are putting the operation in jeopardy.
Next, they fill the roll reduction tank with water.
We are looking for a 30% reduction in the roll angles to have a good result.
And rerun the test.
The water will move out of phase with the roll angle. You can imagine like people running from side to side in order to keep something in balance.
Second time around, and the difference is clear. Now filled with water, Kim's new tank reduces the ship's roll angle from 4 degrees to just 1.
We are happy, and I'm pretty sure we will have some good vessels performing when they will be delivered.
Back at Clevin, Canute and the team are gearing up to install the newly built bridge and anti-roll tank on the full-sized Starfish. But the lift is far from straightforward.
It weighs about 300 tons, so the challenge here is that this needs to be done with 2 cranes in tandem together, well synchronized, because you need to avoid that the whole load starts swinging. Things like these don't happen every day, and it is the last big piece that goes on our ship, then the hull is complete.
To compensate for the slipway's steep slope, the cranes must lower the bridge at a 3-degree angle.
The challenge always is to get it safely in place, with no people getting harmed and with no damages.
Workers connect the cranes to 4 lift points, carefully positioned to balance the asymmetric load. It's Stein Morten Sjostad's job to coordinate the 2 cranes.
You have control?
I have no control. I fully depend on you.
Oh, then we are in deep shit.
With everything set, the lift can begin.
There's always a risk that the load might collide with something. Of course, worst case is that we drop the load.
This looks very good.
Very nice, nice and smooth. We got the last bit in place, the wheelhouse, so it is a ship now, and yeah, it's an exciting feeling to have reached this state now, from the first cutting of a plate and now having the complete hull on the slipway. The next milestone is the launching.
Five weeks later, and with a fresh coat of paint, the Starfish is ready to take to the water.
Now that moment is, of course, a very special moment, and everybody is waiting for that. We're gonna move a mass of more than 4,000 tons to water, just by gravity, and once it goes, and then there's no more stop.
But Canute is worried that as the ship enters the water, her weight could grind her keel against the edge of the dock.
And to prevent that and to create more buoyancy in the aft part of the hull, the yard has installed 2 large buoyancy tanks attached to the hull.
Located on either side of her hull, the tanks are designed to prevent the ship from entering the water too steeply, so avoiding any damage to her stern. To ensure the Starfish is released at exactly the right moment, the slipway features a crucial mechanism. Beneath the vessel are giant timber sledges, sandwiched between the hull and 3 slide rails running the length of the slipway. To stop the ship from sliding back into the sea, the whole structure is held in place by a massive stopper block, secured by 2 retainer bars. On Knut's command, 2 remote-controlled jacks will release the retainer bars, freeing the stopper and allowing the 6,300-ton Starfish to slide backwards into the ocean.
The whole weight of the whole ship is resting on this locking bar. And in the moment we want to initiate the launching, this hydraulic jack is pushing the locking bar off the pin. It falls down, and at that point of time you better make sure you're not here. Once it's moving, there's no more control.
With everything ready, the team gathers to witness the culmination of all their hard work.
Now we're launching. So the locks have dropped. She's coming. She's moving. That's good.
Its mission accomplished.
That was actually a great moment and a very big relief after releasing of the locks. It took a couple of seconds and then she wanted to go to water.
After almost a year of testing, lifting and welding, Knut's Starfish is afloat.
I think we will be ready for a beer tonight.
Once fitted out and tested, the Starfish will finally be ready for action. But for Knut, Peter, Eric and their teams, there's no let-up, as they turn their attention to the next massive ships and rigs scheduled to join the fleet.